Guys, we are live. I hope you've had an awesome, what day is it? Monday. I just thought I'd jump in. On Friday, I did a Q&A on my post, and I went live on Friday evening. Hello to everyone that is joining. Give me a wave when you jump in. I did a live, and my live didn't work for some strange reason. So let me know when you join. So that I can see you here. So what I'm going to do, bit of a rundown, I'm going to run through most likely, let's say 10, we'll see how far we get, 10 questions. Then I'm going to keep doing them most days this week. Okay, so there is like 70 questions in total. So I've got them written here on my screen. The questions are on my screen. I'm going to read them. I've got Facebook and I've got Instagram live going at the same time. So Insta, if I'm not looking at you, don't take it personally. I'm going to start at the top of my list here. All right, I saw a post by Biolane yesterday, this was last week, about serious calorie deficit versus slow and steady. And to be honest, it confused me compared to what I've been trying to do for the last 2 years. Do I cut to achieve my fat loss goals? I don't want to lose muscle, but I fear that I'll have no choice with at least 10 kilograms of fat still needed to lose, feeling extremely stagnant on 1,800 calories for the last 2 weeks, considering doing a 2-week drastic cut to 1,500 calories and then building back up by 50. All right, so from memory, Biolane's post was comparing an aggressive diet to a slow and steady approach, and the consensus was, for the most part, a slow and steady behavioral change is favorable except for obese populations where an aggressive approach may be more favored. So ultimately, you don't have to do anything. You could, you could give it a go. Just some food for thought, though. Guys, don't screw up your long-term goals with your short-term pleasure, okay? Next question. I'm loving all the progressive overload tips without adding weight, the pause, the 1 1/4 lift, the eccentric focus, the decentric focus, but when do you add them into your program? All right, so you can honestly, guys, you can add these in at any time, especially if you are reaching a plateau with your weight. A progression could honestly be something as simple as a paused rep or a slowed eccentric phase. So that's quite easy. All right, next question. Do you think our childhood conditioning influences the way that our bodies change in regards to sports, people play, the activities, the foods that they ate? Totally. I actually did a module on food psychology when I studied nutrition. So from a psychology perspective, it's got everything to do with the behaviors, everything to do with your past behaviors, and obviously they transfer over today. So these behaviors are actually formed in the womb, which actually blew my mind when I studied this. So I don't know about anyone else, but I was always made to sit at the dinner table and finish every single thing on my plate. Like, my mum made me sit there and eat every last pea, because that was a thing that I didn't like. And I would sit there for hours. I didn't want to eat the damn peas, but she would make me eat them, force feed them. I wasn't hungry. I mean, I'm sure other people can relate to that. I've heard so many people share stories really similar. So even the influence that your parents have in terms of sports, obviously shape your perception as an adult as well. So it definitely can change your perceived or your perception now, but you can actually change that as well, just with positive behavior change as well. Next question. What is your favorite way to measure progress? Great question. I love this question. Photos, measurements, weight, strength, increase by tracking your weights. All of my clients track their weights and their reps every single workout. Things like your daily mood, your steps, sleep quality and quantity is a big one. Appetite and cravings as well. Don't dismiss those, okay? So many people really underestimate the value of that important biofeedback on a daily basis. So that's way more important than the scales. If the scales is telling you one thing and all of that feedback's telling you something different, which is positive, it doesn't mean, the scales just doesn't mean anything. Next question. When your goal is muscle growth and you're in a surplus on a workout day, do you recommend also eating in a surplus on rest days as well? If the goal is muscle growth, your total calories for the day should be in a surplus. If you're eating in a surplus and say you're eating in a deficit the following day, which is your rest day, your total calories over the course of the week is actually going to be or likely to be in a calorie deficit, okay? So you don't want that. You need the entire week of your calories to be in a surplus. That's really important to grow muscle. Okay, what are your thoughts around fat loss and the relation of the parasympathetic nervous system? I'm not sure that I actually understand the question specifically. Are you referring to can you lose fat if your body is in a parasympathetic state? Maybe if you are watching, I can't remember who asked this question, maybe you can clarify. Hey Ash, I struggle with losing weight and sticking to a diet as such. What are your tips for staying on track, and how do you work out how many calories you need to lose fat? Okay, this question may end up in a really long answer. Usually when someone feels that they need to stick to a diet, it means that they are restricted in some way, shape or form, okay? And restriction leads to negative feelings because, you know, food can often then be labeled as good or bad food, or I can't have this and I can't have that kind of jazz. Now, the choice is taken away from you, right? Which leads to falling off the bandwagon, okay? I am a huge advocate for tracking your food, which I know a lot of people aren't, but I personally am. It really helps you understand your total food consumption and the value of food as well. It helps you to have a better understanding so that you can have control over what you're eating, rather than, you know, being dictated to by somebody else, by you know, some kind of meal plan, which, I mean, I'm not personally a huge fan of. It's one of my areas that I am really good at, creating meal plans, but you cannot eat the same 6 meals every single day for the rest of your life. I don't care who you are. So it's really important to choose something that you enjoy and something that you can adhere to, because adherence is key, guys. When working out where your body actually maintains that, I personally like to use the Mueller equation in conjunction with tracking your food as accurate as you possibly can, weighing absolutely everything to actually see where your body is actually maintaining at, which is referred to as your actual maintenance, and then you can compare that to your predicted maintenance from the Mueller equation, okay? So just to reiterate, track and weigh your food and drink for a week, and track your weight over the course of this week as well. If you didn't gain or lose weight, congratulations, you found your actual maintenance. Then you can compare that to the Mueller equation, like I just mentioned, and see where you're sitting at, and see whether you can afford to reduce your calories or reverse diet. Okay. Next question. Exercise-wise, I walk daily, Pilates, yoga once or twice a week. This is my limit, maybe more sanity at the moment. As a mum of 3, is this enough for me to shift some fat and tone? Maybe. Is it the most efficient way? Probably not, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it, you know, especially if you love it and that's what you will adhere to, you know. Create a deficit with your food, not your training, and you will lose some weight. Individuals who eat high protein diets and they resistance train as well, you know, if they combine that with a calorie deficit, and then, yeah, I mean, it's such a loaded question. I talk about people adhering to doing stuff for what they enjoy, but then if we talk about what's most efficient for you, you may actually end up enjoying that more. I like my clients personally to weight train, and reverse diet if the calories aren't high enough. When we reverse diet, we tend to see the energy expenditure actually increase on a daily basis, which is ultimately what you want, which means that they can, eventually eat a little bit more. And then when we reduce their calories, they may actually be on more calories than when they first started. Okay, next question. I'm a vegetarian. I struggle with getting enough protein. I don't like tofu, beans, lentils. Are macros important, especially protein when losing weight? I love a more plant-based diet with fish. P.S. Thank you. Thank you for saying thank you, using your manners. Yes, protein is extremely important when you're in a calorie deficit, guys. Fish is protein, okay? Just in case you didn't know. And you can actually use this opportunity to supplement with protein powder as well, okay? High protein diets, they are going to allow for a greater energy expenditure daily. It's going to help you stay fuller for longer, and it will also help preserve muscle mass in a calorie deficit. Okay, next question. And I can see another couple of questions coming through on Instagram as well. I'm going to make sure I get back to you guys too. I'm recovering from an eating disorder, bulimia. How do you stick to a calorie deficit without falling back into old habits of binging? So firstly, congrats. I love to hear that you are recovering, okay? Without knowing, I guess, too much about your situation though, I would say maybe a calorie deficit is probably not the best thing for you. I'd be investing in maybe a specialist that actually works with women with eating disorders, and unfortunately that is not my expertise. Thank you to everyone that's waving as well, by the way, and giving me love hearts and likes. I love it. All right, let me just have a look at these couple of questions. Can you lose fat without losing weight on the scales? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Just depends. I think I did a post, the one before last, I'm sure I did a post, maybe I dreamt it. No, I did it on my Fit Tip Tuesday last week. I spoke about the people that can actually be in a calorie deficit, build muscle, and lose fat at the same time. Those people are people that are overweight, people that are completely beginners, people that take steroids, or people that are deconditioned to training and coming back to training and having those like new beginner gains. Can you lose fat? Building muscle. Oh, okay, cool. Pretty much same question. Same question. All right, guys, I reckon we might have time for one more, and I will leave it there. I want to pop in. Let me know if you want me to come back this week and keep doing it like this in the video form. If that's helpful for you, please let me know. Let me know in the comments so I don't just guess. What are your thoughts on no sugar drinks? I've got mixed thoughts, to be honest. Mixed thoughts because I am an advocate of health, and I feel like they offer no nutritional value, and that's my personal bias. But also there's not enough research to suggest that they are necessarily bad for you. And who am I to say that they provide, like, don't drink them because they provide no nutritional value when I eat ice cream and chocolate, which also provide no nutritional value. So I think it's definitely a personal preference. I think I was going to do one other. Hang on a minute. Some of these are like super long. Oh, here we go. Here's one that's nice and quick. What's your go-to source of protein? My go-to source of protein is honestly chicken. I am boring when it comes to that, but I love chicken. I'm a chicken fiend. All right, guys. Like I said, if this is something that you guys liked and enjoyed, please let me know. Type it in the comments. I can see people watching. There's people on both Facebook and Instagram Live. Let me know, and I will continue doing it this week. If you don't like me doing this, don't be afraid to tell me, Ash, no, please don't do this again. Other than that, if there's any last minute questions, feel free to pop them in. the comments. Thank you, very helpful. I'm glad. There is, like I said, guys, there is like 60 something, maybe more questions for me to answer. So I will, I'll keep doing that this week. I should be sleeping, but I had to watch. Go to sleep. Thank you for joining. All right, guys, I'm going to shoot off. Enjoy your, what day is it? Monday. Enjoy your Monday night, and I'll see you later on during the week. Bye.